Welcome back to another episode of Magic's in the Mess, the go-to podcast for ambitious women ready to stop pretending, start aligning, and finally build success your way. I'm your host, Danielle McKinley, speaker, business and wealth strategist, and your go-to problem-solving hype girl. Here, we'll help you unlock powerful mindset shifts, discover your magic, and bring your dream life into reality. Each week, I'll deliver raw stories, proven business strategies, and powerful transformations with industry leaders to activate the magic in you. So if you're ready to ditch the pressure, the performative BS, and the noise telling you who you should be, hit subscribe and let's make some magic. I built and sold a company, and I still wake up some mornings wondering if it was all worth it. You see, success, it messes with your head in ways that no one talks about. This episode wasn't planned. It's not polished or outlined. It's just me sitting here on one of those days where everything feels heavy, confusing, and quite honestly, pretty tender. I know people see me as confident, strong, the woman with the systems, the mindset, the strategy, the success, quote unquote. And that's true. That's a part of me. But if I'm being really honest, there is also me right now, tired, uncertain, and sometimes lonely. I have days where I wake up questioning if any of it even makes sense anymore, where I wonder if I'm doing enough, or if what I'm building will ever land the way that I see it in my mind. People look at me, and maybe you've experienced this too, and they assume she's good, that she's got it all figured out, that confidence just lives here all the time. The truth though, I don't. I'm human. I hurt, I cry, I doubt. Sometimes I wish people knew that the strong ones need love too. So if you've ever been the one holding it all together, the one everyone leans on, the one who rarely gets asked, how are you doing? Is there anything I can do for you? This episode is for you, my friend. Welcome back to Magic's in the Mess. Let's talk about the part that no one sees, the part where even the strong ones break. Because you know what's hard? Being the person known for having it all together. It's flattering, sure, maybe even empowering at times, but it's also incredibly lonely. People mean it as a compliment, and I appreciate that. But what they don't realize is that it can be quietly building a wall around me, or you in this case. And when you're always the strong one, people stop checking in. They stop asking if you need help. They assume you're fine because you're always fine. You always put on a happy face. You've always got an answer. You always get back up. And I've played that role my entire life. But lately, it's been catching up with me in ways I didn't see coming because I've done a lot of work on that part of myself. And that's something I think that we all misinterpret and have this misconception that we've done the work. And so that all of a sudden somehow means that we should be quote unquote fixed or healed. But the reality is when a part of you, a part of your personality, a part of your trauma response is so deeply rooted in the way that your nervous system is comfortable moving through the world, it's something that'll keep coming up over and over. And I'm realizing right now, as I'm recording this, that version of me has creeped back in and I need to go give it some attention because it's really catching up with me. There are moments where I feel like I'm carrying it all, the vision, the pressure, the expectations, and no one even knows how heavy it feels. And I can smile through it, I can coach through it, I can lead through it, but some nights I just sit there and cry and question. Not because anything is falling apart or there's some fire that needs to be put out, but because I'm holding so much that no one sees. And even the strongest ones get tired of being strong. Sometimes I sense that people look at me and think, she's fine, she's successful, she's happy. And yes, I'm so grateful. And yes, I am successful and I am, for the most part, very happy and super proud of what I've built. But behind that, I'm also human, and some days I question everything just like you. I question if I'm making the right moves, if my purpose is still aligned, if all of this, the building, the teaching, the creating, actually matters and is what I'm here to do. I get scared that I'm falling off track and that I'm not getting off the train fast enough. Because there are days where I feel so clear and so certain, and then others where I feel like I'm standing in a fog, wondering if the universe forgot to send me the next breadcrumb. Who can relate to waiting for the sign and then like begging for it? And you're begging for it so hard that you completely miss the whisper because you're so intently like, show me the next step. I'll give you an example. Last week, I sat in my car outside a meeting for 10 minutes, debating on if I had the energy to walk in and smile. I was absolutely exhausted. I did, but that quiet moment, that's the part, those 10 minutes, that's the part no one sees. Nobody in that room would have ever realized that that's what I was doing in my car before walking in. Even as I say this, I can feel the tightness in my chest from that moment. Because we post, the launch, not the lull. The smiling headshot, not the puffy eyes from the night before where we had a good cry and we were overthinking. And I am guilty of it too, my friend. But here's what I'm learning. People don't connect to perfection. We know this, we say this, but it's a completely other element to embody it. What people connect with is the truth, the vulnerability, the authenticity. And that is why I created this podcast. And the truth, it can sound messy, uncertain, but always honest. And right now, I'm in what I've been calling a planting season. It's the part of growth where the effort is big, but the evidence is still pretty small. Where you're showing up, you're watering the soil, but the harvest, it still hasn't quite come. And if I'm being honest, this season has messed with my head in ways that I did not expect. Because I've been successful. I've built, I've scaled, I've exited, I've checked the boxes, I've led teams, I've had big one-on-one clients. So part of my brain keeps whispering, why isn't this easier? Why does it feel like I'm starting over? And I have to quickly snap back and say, you're not starting over, you're starting from experience. But that's the mental fuck of success. You see, you think once you've made it, you'll never question yourself again. But the truth is, success just changes the questions. Now it sounds like, what if that was my peak? What if I can't recreate it? What if this time it doesn't work? Success doesn't silence self-doubt. It just gives it a nicer wardrobe, okay? And I know this because I've experienced it before. I've walked through it. I felt the pressure, the doubt, the identity shifts that happen when you're standing between what was and what's next. So it makes it that much wilder to see it show up again in such a big way for me right now. Very different this time, gentler maybe, but still there. And surprised by the level of there that it is. Even with the experience, even with the tools, even with the perspective, even with the receipts, it's still here. It's still whispering. And this right here is where I practice what I preach. Not after I've figured it all out, not once it's wrapped up in a beautiful lesson, but in it. Before I have the answers, before I know how the story ends. Because if I'm going to teach harmony over hustle, I have to live in the waiting, not just celebrating in the win. And it's very humbling because after the applause fades, you realize that fulfillment and certainty don't automatically come with the win. You still have to plant. You still have to believe before you see proof. That's really what being an entrepreneur is knowing something so deep in your soul and knowing that it's possible without the proof and not needing the proof from others. And I'll be honest, that's me right now. I'm questioning, I'm trusting, I'm surrendering. And some days I feel aligned and like, yes, we're moving, we're grooving. And other days I'm working to not spiral and spin out. But this is where faith gets built, in the quiet, the unseen places, where you learn that just because you can't see the roots doesn't mean that you're not growing. Just because nobody's clapping doesn't mean it's not working. And maybe the waiting, it's not punishment, it's preparation. I had to take a deep breath after saying that, because even hearing myself say it out loud is wild. This is where I'm learning to let the soil do its job and stop digging up the seeds to see if they're growing. So if you take anything from this episode, I hope it's this. You are allowed to be human. You can be the leader and still need love. You can hold space for others and still crave someone to hold space for you. You can be grounded and grateful and still feel lost sometimes. There's nothing wrong with that. And it doesn't mean that you're broken or you're behind or that it's not going to work out and you should blow up everything that you're doing. It means that you're alive and you are pursuing something that is really important to you. And maybe the reason I felt called to record this is because I needed to say it out loud. I don't have it all figured out. I'm still learning. I'm still healing. I'm still human. And it's so important for my Magic Makers community to know that. Nobody that we look up to, nobody that we're putting on a pedestal, no mentor that we've had or that we dream of having doesn't have bad days, doesn't have self-doubt, doesn't have imposter syndrome, doesn't question it all sometimes, because we're human. And once we stop pretending that we have it all together, you finally make space for people to meet you where you really are. And I know what it's like to hit the goals, to build the dream, to have the people think that you're untouchable. And it's lonely like that. And you still wake up some mornings wondering if it all makes sense. And that's where I am right now. I'm not past it. I'm in it. I'm learning to lead myself with the same compassion I give every single client and every single person that I encounter. So if you're listening and you've been the strong one, the fixer, the go-to, the rock, you can be all of that and still fall apart sometimes. You can be grateful and still be tired. You can be proud and still be unsure. I'm not here to give you a perfectly packaged takeaway today. I'm here to stand beside you in the tension and remind both of us, myself included, that being human is the actual point. Because we don't grow when everything makes sense. We grow when we keep showing up even when it doesn't. So today I'm choosing to believe that mess means movement, that the waiting means taking root and growing something super strong, and that maybe the most powerful thing any of us can do is stop performing and start feeling again. I don't have to have it all figured out. How freeing is that? But I'm here and I'm trying and I'm going to keep showing up with the best of my ability every single day. And maybe that's enough for both of us right now. That's the magic in the mess. So my friend, if this episode hit you, I want you to screenshot it and tag me on Instagram at Life by Danielle. Tell me where you are in your own planting season, and I'll be resharing some of your stories because I know so many of us are walking through this together. And honestly, it would help me to connect with you and to see that I too am not alone in this messy middle. Thanks for tuning in. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next week.